Leadership skills. So elevated EQ. One of the things for sure is leadership skills are developed. And I would say that one of the main reasons is because if somebody has a higher emotional intelligence level, they they're more geared towards understanding others. They are more investigative. They want to find out what people like, what they don't like. They're able to show compassion. And this helps people gain trust in the person, right? And I'm sure, I mean, let me know if you agree. Do you agree that you need to trust the person who's in a leadership role? I would say yes. And one of the ways you gain trust is by having that level of emotional intelligence. You develop that rapport with people that gives the people the impression that you are listening, that you are paying attention, that you do have their best interest in mind. So it's no coincidence that many people in leadership roles have a very high emotional intelligence level. And for the same reasons, they're better able to make friends and nurture relationships. So it's not just making friends. I mean, for some people, it's very easy to make friends, but it's hard to nurture relationships. Why? Because one of the reasons, or one of the ways we have to nurture relationships is sometimes getting through a difficult situation. Sometimes nurturing a relationship involves a conflict. Not all conflict to be bad or negative. Sometimes we need that conflict so we can level up in that relationship, so we can get to that next level and grow. And I think that's, it's very important. And I'm sure some of you may even have family members or friends or people at work that you say, we got into it at one time, but ever since then we've gotten closer, or ever since then we work better together. We've gained a better understanding of our work method, our work style, and it's really elevated our team. Maybe some of you have gone through that, or with family members, we've gotten tighter, even though we had to go that uncomfortable, disagreeable moment, but we made it through and we're tighter for it. And of course, all of that coming from proper, productive conflict resolution skills. And I'll say it again, conflict doesn't have to be negative. Conflict could just be two people with different goals, different understandings, or different views on something. And it's not about avoiding conflict. It's about how you manage the conflict. And if both of you are clear and self-aware on what's going on intrinsically, then you're going to do a much better job in listening and empathizing and being clear on your boundaries, what you want, and what your intentions are. Emotional perceptiveness, this really helps us because the better you are in touch with your emotions, the better you can detect it in other people. And that's huge. And sometimes it's a guessing game, and sometimes you'll get it wrong, and you'll say, I'm sorry you feel frustrated, and the person, I don't feel frustrated. I feel sad. I feel upset, or I feel devalued, or I feel like people don't listen to me. Okay, well, at least now you have something to work with. But emotional perceptiveness is that initial moment where you say, I feel as this person is angry, and I'm going to act accordingly. I'm not going to elevate. I'm not going to escalate the situation. I'm going to do things to diffuse the situation. So where does this come from? Why is this important? And what is the first building block to emotional intelligence? Well, it's really having a clear understanding of what makes individuals emotionally healthy, happy, and effective. Because chances are, collectively, what makes individuals emotionally healthy, happy, and effective are something we all share. It's very similar to what makes you healthy, happy, and effective. And many of us, we share that. There is something that a lot of things in life that we share collectively that we enjoy. Collectively, we experience things like happiness, sadness, disappointment, excitement, joy. And these are things that we can all relate to because at some point in time, we've all experienced it. So therefore, if you have a clear understanding of what makes, as an individual and other individuals, healthy, happy, and effective, then now you have a place where you can build from. And one of the things that has been proven to work is this concept of proactivity. Now, a safe reference would be Tony Robbins. I'd be confident that most of you have heard of who Tony Robbins is. So, and one of his sayings that's always stuck with me is motion creates emotion. And I believe in that wholeheartedly. I think proactivity is really the number one thing we can do to reverse, and not reverse, or get out of a situation that's making us feel negative, is doing something about it. And that goes back to the cognitive behavioral therapy I was talking about earlier, where we can't control the thoughts that come into our mind. Unfortunately, they pop in, there they are, and you can either wave at them and let the thoughts take over, or you can stand up to those thoughts and challenge those thoughts and ask questions to those thoughts, right? And that's proactive. That is our ability to choose our response. And we all have that ability, that's for sure. Right. One thing we all enjoy that makes us healthy and effective is we enjoy experiencing positive emotions, right? We do have this ability to know happiness and an enduring sense of well-being. And like I said earlier, I said it just now, we know because we've experienced it. Even people say, you know what, I haven't experienced a positive emotion ever. Sometimes I'll have to take them back to when they were a child. Was there ever a birthday? Was there ever a holiday? Was there any moment that you felt pure joy and you felt positive emotions? And most of the time, the answer is yes. We do have the ability to know happiness because we've experienced it before. And yes, barring any type of severe mental illness, for the most part, by applying some daily activities, daily exercises, we can open up those experiences again. When we do that, it creates some very cool results. And the first one is it leads to improved attention. Now, one of the, I would say, one of the pillars, one of the main books, once we had positive psychology and emotional intelligence come to surface, there was a book written called Flow. And there's been a lot of books written since that have this similar concept, but it started with this book called Flow, which is when you do something for a certain period of time, you get into the flow, right? There's obviously the concept there. And your only focus is what you're fully engaged in that moment. You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're only thinking about how gratifying it is to be able to fully focus on what you're currently doing. And when you have experienced, or you've allowed yourself to experience positive emotions, and you can embrace a negative situation and turn it into something productive and be proactive about things, then you are setting yourself up to be able to focus and be fully engaged in what you're doing. And one of the things I challenge people on all the time is I challenge them to perform the 5-minute challenge, which sometimes we all have something that we haven't gotten around to, something we know we have to do and we haven't. And we just don't do it. We say, I can't find the time, or when I do have the time, I don't have the energy to do it, right? Do any of you have anything going on right now? You're like, I wish I could read that book. I wish I can do that one activity. I wish I had more time for this. I mean, now, even with the quarantine, people are still saying they don't have time to do certain things, right? Or maybe that they don't have the time, but when they have the time, they don't have the energy. And if you can relate to that, definitely chime in, or send me a quick message in the chat room, because I know I've gone through that. And the 5-minute challenge has really helped me. You basically set the timer on your phone. For most of us, it'll be on our phone, but if you another method, you set a timer for 5 minutes. Pick the one thing that you've had a hard time getting around to. Start the timer and just do it for 5 minutes. If after 5 minutes you don't want to continue doing it, don't do it. Wasn't meant to be. However, what's been found is most of the time, when that timer goes off, you're almost disappointed that the timer went off, and you quickly stop the timer, and a lot of people will continue doing it, because it takes on average about 2 to 5 minutes to get into that state of flow, to realize, to let the brain know, hey, this is what we need to be engaged in right now. This is what's most important. Not the worries of the past, not the worries of the future, but right now, this very moment. So experiencing positive emotions really creates the avenue to achieve that. Greater working memory. So when we're at work and we kind of have a clear head and we have clear thoughts, then all of a sudden we become more effective because we're more engaged in that moment. What we're doing, we're better at recalling certain information, things that might, be usually applied to short-term memory, but you can quickly recall, right? Because you're fully engaged. It's great for conversations as well. If you're having a conversation with somebody and your mind is somewhere else, obviously you're not going to be able to pick up or recall some of the things that you said, right? Increased open-mindedness. Now, this is extremely important, especially when it comes time to resolve a conflict, especially when it comes time to have an uncomfortable situation or, a conversation with somebody. When you know that there's going to be a little bit of pushback, right? Having an increased open-mindedness really helps us out, because when somebody maybe speaks to us in a way that we're not really appreciating, or somebody has a bad attitude, or you're kind of you don't feel that the interaction is going well, when we have an open mind, we can allow ourselves to think of more possibilities as to why this is happening, right? Maybe this person is always in survival mode. Maybe this person is defensive for a reason. Maybe this person is angry and nobody's taken the time to listen to this person, right? When you have an open mind, you open up these possibilities, as opposed to when we're closed off and we say, why is this person speaking to me this way? Or if in the virtual workplace, why is this person typing in all caps? Well, maybe they didn't mean to, or maybe they don't realize that typing in all caps means that you're yelling via chat or via text or whatever, right? So having an open mind really helps us. It kind of helps us de-escalate, so then we can better de-escalate a situation. Which leads directly into behavioral adaptability. When we allow ourselves to experience positive emotions, again, I can't say it enough, it expands our mind. It expands the possibilities of the way we look at things. And we have fun with how, the fact that we have choices. We all love having choices. We all love having options. And there is never just one way to look at a situation. And the same thing goes with our behavior. There's never just one way to react. There's many ways to react. And if there's somebody that you're having an uncomfortable situation with at work, and you see whatever it is they're upset about is more important to them than it is to you, then that will require some adaptability, right? Adaptability, if there's one thing we've learned of the last 7 weeks or 8 weeks, is our ability to adapt is one of the most important traits that we need to hold on to as humans. We need to be able to adapt. And the same thing goes here, where, okay, I am willing to adapt my behavior in this situation. If this person is more intense, if they're functioning at a 10 and I'm at a 5, I'm not going to step up to a 10. Let me adapt my behavior so I can help de-escalate the situation. Now, this is a real thing. We know that enhanced stress can lead to cardiovascular issues. It can lead to digestive issues. It can lead to a lot of different, even diabetes. There's different areas that if we're spending 50% or more of our life in work-related activities, and we're worked up the whole time, or we're angry or upset, or we're feeling a certain way, then that eventually is going to take a toll on your body. So even more reason to reflect, and some self-reflection, and to kind of use these workshops as a way to, hey, let me take note of some things I need to be doing, because I need to be feeling better while I'm here. I need to be feeling better when I interact with my coworkers, with my supervisor. I need to feel better when I'm in meetings, and definitely that's a huge benefit. Okay. It provides us with the ability to engage effectively with others, as well as with situations. Yes, we will be better prepared if we allow ourselves to experience positive emotions. If we are working on our emotional intelligence, you will automatically, as a very organic result, you will see that you will be better able to engage effectively with other people. and work with different situations, whether it's a positive situation, a fun situation, a negative situation. You can work with it, and as a result, that will definitely enhance your quality of the relationships, right? Um, and you can effectively apply meaning to everything. So one thing that some people struggle and they say, I can't remember, or I don't know what my passion and purpose is. I don't know what I'm doing. I know I wake up in the morning to work. And there are many ways to start applying meaning to everything you do. But it is a muscle and it is something you need to work on every day. And so I always say, let's go to a very general, very healthy and just a generic starting point. And that is refer to the Miami-Dade College mission statement. All right. I always say that. Some people laugh, some people giggle when I say that. Some people do the whole like, "Oh, I haven't read that since my job interview," and and I totally get it. Well, now's the time, to say, okay, well, I know that I'm going to feel better if I know why I'm doing what I'm about to do today, and I want to feel good, right? And I'm having a hard time finding that. So that's a good starting point. You work from there, right? Revisiting the mission statement is tremendous. You read the mission, you say, I'm a part of this mission. I do this every day. I play a key role in following through with this mission every day. And then another thing that helps us experience positive emotions is our sense of accomplishment, right? We all know that this concept of having a goal. Some of us have not properly defined our goal. We don't know what our long-term goal is. And that's a whole other thing that maybe, that we go establishing and defining. But one thing that effective people do is they have the long-term goal, but they also have these short-term goals, and they allow themselves to celebrate the victories along that journey. Experiencing that sense of accomplishment, acknowledging that accomplishment is very, very crucial.